Hey bros, welcome to Brovesting with Josh.
Jeremiah.
So, what is Brovesting?
Brovesting is a community of bros looking for a different perspective on financial stability now and in the future.
So, the future's over there, just in case you were wondering where it is.
Right over there.
So yeah, so you need to, we will always be ready for opportunity, and we're trying to look for that different path than everyone else is taking. I think that's really important. Is we're gonna help each other. We are not financial advisors yet. I have every intention, I think Jared does too, to someday run some sort of fund managing. But for now, we are edutainment.
This is our financial advisor career in its infancy, so we are not quite financial advisors. Can't stress that enough.
But we can stress that this is a documentation of our financial journey from middle class to maybe millionaire. And you get to watch all of our success, all of our failures, because you have nothing riding on this, but we have our hard-earned dollars riding on this in our retirement, etc. So you get to learn either way, if we do good or we do bad.
Hopefully it's a good part, but you gotta take it.
So tell me about the most interesting man in the world, Jeremiah.
Well, I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I drink a lot of it. So I'm Jeremiah. I'm very stereotypical middle class. I have a government job working at our finest of postal service has to offer.
You work at FedEx?
Postal service, not some crap, fake Federal Express crap. Anyways, if you work for FedEx, I apologize if I've offended you. You're just competition and can't compete. It's not my fault. So I work at the Postal Service. I have a roof over my head. I have a truck with 4 wheels, technically 5, count the steering wheel. It's a nicer end truck.
Big truck.
Big old truck. I have some debt. Most of it's my truck, but I have a little bit of debt. And I'm just looking for. I wanted to get away from what everyone else before me and my family has done, as far as finances go. So this is my journey and my accomplishments, what I will accomplish. So who is the second most interesting man in the world?
I don't know who that is, but I was asking him to tell you about me. So I also have a government job. We live in a low-income area, so we do pretty well for ourselves. I have, all of the other, things of life you want, and this huge liability, and that's my son, and I love him very much, and he costs lots of money. I also accrue even more debt than Jeremiah did, and over the last 7 years, I paid off approximately $80,000, and in another month-ish, I will be completely out of debt. And this is, once again, our documentation. We've always said that we should be a sitcom or something. Our conversations need to be listened to and enjoyed by other people, and we're about to find out if they're as entertaining as we think they are.
This might be a reality check, but who knows?
So what do we bring to the table? 40 plus hours a week of studying, reading, learning about investing, getting out of debt, all of these tools and practices of financial independence.
What is the goal of all that studying?
All that
studying, reading, learning. We hope to digest it enough where we can learn it and convey it to you guys in a way that you don't have to quite put that much work in. It's not that hard once you learn the basics. It just takes a little bit of time, and through our experience, the time invested should be minute compared to what we're investing, 40 hours plus a week.
And there's so many voices out there that are talking to you, and they all have these degrees from these schools, and they tell you different things, and you're like, what's the truth? What do I do with my money? How do I get out of debt? All these things. It's really hard to wade through all of them and figure it out, and we spend the time and the effort to figure out the correct, well, maybe not correct information, but figure out the information that applies to us best, right? Because there's different information for different people in life, and where we are, where, your normal bro is in life, we want to find what works best for us. So tell me about the American dream.
Well, the American dream is quite simply own a big house.
I want a big house.
Be married, have 5 kids.
I don't want that many kids.
Have a nice cushion job.
This sounds a lot like your family.
Government job would be great because those aren't going anywhere anytime soon.
We want stability.
Stability is key. You need a nice looking truck. You got to keep up with the Joneses. It's pretty much guys across the street. They have a sprinkler system on their lawn. Even if you have 2 feet of lawn, you need a sprinkler system.
I need 2 sprinkler systems.
You need to be able to water their lawn from yours.
But yes, so you got to keep up with the Joneses. If you don't live above your means, then you're not living the American dream. If you're middle class, you have every right to live the life of an upper class family. That is what the American dream is, and that's what we want to stray away from, because the only way to do that is to accrue a ton of debt. And what is debt in the American dream?
Debt is a tool to get things that you want with a promise of paying back later.
With interest.
With lots of interest.
A little bit.
So basically, it is the tool to live the American dream. Because who's got $38,000 to drop on a big truck?
If you have that much money, you're listening to the wrong channel.
I think someone steered you in the wrong manner.
I don't know why you're here. No, I'm just kidding. If you have that much money, then you're so much further ahead of us, and you're going to be able to do so much more things with that same amount of money.
We'd actually be interested in talking to you and getting some advice, some perspective maybe, actually.
Absolutely. How did you get to have $38 in cash just sitting in your savings? Because I want that.
I want a piece of that pie.
So you have to maximize your debt. The only way to use a tool is to use it as much as you can. So if you have a drill, the only way to use a drill is to drill holes all over your house, whether or not you need them. And that is what we effectively do by maximizing our debt. Is we're walking around the house and we're like, I could put a picture here someday. And just leaving a bunch of holes all around the house. So that's our opinion on maximizing debt. So, all right. I like money. You like money?
I like money. Money gets me what I want.
How do you get money?
How do you get money? Well, obviously you work for it.
Okay.
I've been working for it ever since I can remember. You go to work, you get this paycheck, you spend the paycheck.
Well, how do I get more money than how much money I have from going to work?
You get lucky and win the megabucks.
Wow. What's the odds on that?
Well, without being a computist, really low.
Yeah, approximately somewhere around 0%.
So probably what a bro would do, what I would do, what a bro would do, would just be work harder, work longer.
Some overtime. We love overtime.
Overtime is where the real money begins.
That's the American dream. If you want more money, you get paid more per hour if you just work overtime. And we want to find a different way than working harder. And, that's passive income, some other kinds of things we'll talk about later. But, we want to focus that, these 4 things we're talking about in the American dream, these are things we want to change. We don't want to change the entire American dream. We want to live a free life in a great country with people who believe in equality and freedoms. But we don't want to work harder to get more money. We don't want to live above our means and be in deep debt. And we don't want to maximize our credit and have holes all throughout our house just for no reason.
It would create a crazy draft.
So the one big takeaway that I've learned from the American dream when it comes to financial education is it's not taught in schools and it's up to your parents. But in my personal experience, we don't talk about that at the dinner table.
It's not allowed to talk about it. It's worse than bringing up politics.
It's disrespectful to ask your parents how much they make, how much they put into their retirement, or generally just advice about money. They'll tell you to save it. Don't spend all your money, save it, but it's hard, right?
I can actually remember a time I was thinking about going to college and they asked what your parents make. So naturally, I asked my parents what they make. And you know what I got for a response?
No.
Why do you need to know that? And I was like, well, I'm filling out this application, and they're like, when you get done with it, let me know. So I got done with it, and I said, how much you guys make? Well, can you just put like you don't need us or something? Because I don't think it's that important that you need our income. And I was like, well, you could just tell me a number. Refused. Upright to this day. That's why I didn't send in that application.
Right. So it was such a big deal that even if it was as important as a possibility for him to increase his well-being in his educational future, they were not willing to let him know what they made, because that's how awkward that conversation is for a bro's family. I know personally with me, the only reason I have any idea what my parents make is because my dad is a teacher, and I can look up salaries of a teacher in Maine, and I know he makes somewhere around that. And my mom briefly one day happened to mention how much money she would have to make somewhere else to leave where she is now. And I just had to she makes slightly less than that then.
I've got a good idea what my parents make, because my dad one time told me that he was upset that I make comparable money to him.
So, as you notice, all of these things we didn't find out until our mid-20s. And that's horrible. Like, that's a conversation in high school when you're starting to understand what money is you should have with your children. That's something I plan on having a conversation with my children about. I want to be very transparent. And the number one reason why Bro's family wouldn't want to talk about finances is because they're not as good as they appear. And you never want to let down the people you care about most. And that's really hard. We have to find a way to respectfully, convey reality to our children and our, loved ones without it coming across as disrespectful or disappointing.
And you don't want them to fear a different way of life.
Yep. I know I had no idea before we started studying and reading up on things months and months ago of, like, what would I do if I don't follow my parents' footsteps?
What else is there to do? Like, is there another path to take that isn't, illegal?
And if there isn't, why haven't I seen people do that? My friends and family, my, fellow coworkers, etc. It's really hard to know what people are doing with their money when no one talks about it. So that, I guess, is the summation of what we're about. This is our intro video, and we really hope you enjoy our channel. We're looking for lots of feedback. We're gonna let all 5 of our viewers, if you ever comment, we'll get right on that. Personal thing. We don't have any secretaries or anything. Nope. So that was one of the really important things for us, was that all these gurus who are telling us stuff, they're already up there. They're already millionaires. It's so easy for them to be like, well, this is what I do with my money, and it keeps on making more money. Because you could put your $1 million in a savings account and get 0.25% on it, and you're making more money than we're going to make off of investing this year, even though we're looking to get a 15% rate of return and they're getting 0.25%. So having money can make a world of difference.
Yep, sure can. I've always thought if I was born rich that I would have a way easier life.
And it turns out that no matter how much wealth we get, lifestyle creep will come up. So even though both of our families well established in the middle to upper middle class, they seem to end up in the same place they were before they were making the more money. Because there's always something you can buy, something you could want.
There's always a new model of truck coming out every year.
And if you don't have it, are you really a man?
No, you're not. No, you need to. Not only do you need to have it, but before you even get it in your driveway, lifted tires.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's cool. I'm a little bit jealous of his truck. My Matchbox car is not as cool. I assume you could get more ladies if you had a big truck, but once you get to the situations we're in, it's not really what you're thinking about anymore.
Nope.
We're in our mid-late 20s, and we're settling down, and we've got the careers we want, and we're looking towards retirement.
I want to get paid to do nothing.
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
So thanks for spending your time with us, and we'll see you soon. Peace out, bros.